I got damaged.
You got damage?
Yeah, it got destroyed, and it got a hole, a stick. A hole? What from?
Hey, what's up, Malcolm? How you doing, man? How old are you now, boy? You sound big now. Are you still doing karate? And if so, are you having fun with it? Oh, okay. Man, I'm just glad y'all safe. Yeah, y'all out here living like us with no electricity. That's crazy, man. So, do you know when Rochelle's gonna get out of the hospital? Oh, my camera looks so bad. Where are you? That's a little better. Oh, my internet not good. I'm right by the router. Why are you not? I don't know what's going on with this. And it's still acting a little wonky.
Party You feel me?
Hey.
It's like, you know, no person that got like.
Hey, what's up, guys? How everybody doing? Hold on 1 second. So my sister's in Houston and checking on them from that hurricane.
Sure.
I just recorded
Lots of mom.
stuff just now. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi, Uncle Swag.
I got your 6.
Say hey.
Hi.
How old are you?
6.
You doing karate stuff? You sure?
That's it.
How much soccer?
That's
Soccer was good?
Yeah.
Talk in full sentences, please.
what?
Talk in full sentences.
Well, my foot got broken.
Your foot got broken.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
It's late. So he being silly.
No, don't tell me that. No.
What?
My mom gave me a piece.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
All right. She should come out tomorrow or Thursday. She went in last Wednesday. So she's been there for about a week now. But hopefully she should be out tomorrow, the day before. I mean the day after. But they didn't want to let her release her like during the hurricane too, because like that's crazy to release people during the hurricane. But yeah, she should be home tomorrow or the next day.
Oh, okay, that's good. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad they didn't release it. That would have been crazy. How's Uncle Chris and Auntie BJ? Are they okay? How's everybody doing? You know, I ain't heard from nobody since 2 years ago?
You shouldn't flirt with the dark.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad you say that, because that's why I need a break. Because I feel like this YouTube is turning me into somebody I'm not. Consuming this much negativity day in and day out, it's just not healthy. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's unless you're a person that like divulges and like thrives off of negativity and hatred. This is like porn for you. But I'm the person that likes positivity, the betterment thing.
So I'm listening to this YouTuber who got into some trouble in Colombia. And it's just funny, people, the way people act when their actions get them in trouble now is like positivity and all of this. But it was all, they create negative content. Have you been anywhere with a friendlier people than Zambia? Troy, to be honest with you, it's really based off who you are as a person, how friendly people are. I actually have a really outgoing personality. So like every country that I go to, I met really amazing people around the world. Even when I was in the Iraq war in Iraq, I met people that became like family to me. There was some really great people there. I got to really understand the culture. So it really depends on, from an individual perspective, how much you're willing to assimilate with the culture. Like I tell people to this day, I miss Colombia because it was some of the most wonderful people I met in the world. I will say this, Zambian people, just from the outright, are very friendly, very welcoming people. It's just there's so many tribes and so much to learn here that like I haven't really delved deep into getting to know one tribe and things like that. Cause like I know people who are Tambuka. I don't know, is Nyanja just the language or is that a tribe? But I know people who are Bimba, Lala, different tribes. It's just a lot here to soak up. And then when each one has their own language, it's deep, man. It's a lot of stuff I didn't know about African countries. But I would say no matter where you go in the world, you're gonna meet friendly people. You're gonna meet assholes, but you're gonna meet friendly people also. Let me see if I can get this quality looking better. Where's my remote? Let me see if that looks better. Yeah, okay. Now that looks better with the light. So I'm just checking on my sister in Houston. They got hit by real with that hurricane. And so I was just on them making sure they're good and stuff. I didn't even know about it until I heard it in the Yango yesterday. But where everybody coming in from? So I'm sorry, I was supposed to be doing lives all last week, well, this weekend, I mean, but I was in the Copper Belt, and man, internet was really bad there, and then it was really busy. I was there for Ndola Fashion Week, which was a really cool experience. If you've never been to it and you're in Zambia, Wayne, Ndola, make sure you check it out. I think it's gonna be next year, the next one. Really good event, man. Really great people. Come on, man. Here we go. I'll set you out of the way. Man, one of the biggest things about traveling that people don't talk about is getting resettled. It's a headache. I've been looking around my house and I'm seeing all the stuff that I need to get, like little end cap tables. Like I need to get a new couch, something that's more comfortable. I still have a whole room back there I need to fix up. But I don't know if I want to do it because next year I'm going to move to Ndola or go to Kitwe. And so I'm really not sure what I want to do here. Cause I don't want to be having to ship all of this stuff over. I visited before from Australia, beautiful machine. Troy, man, you can say that again. This is a very underrated country. I don't think, see, like I value peace. The fact that I know I can go to sleep every night and I'm not worried about someone breaking in my house or hearing gunshots at night. I value peace too much. And this is a very peaceful country, which I love. What part of Australia are you from? I still want to go to Australia. I need to get out there. I had the chance to go, but I just didn't go at that time because I was living in Panama. And I did not feel like being on the flight that long. Okay, Melbourne, nice. Excuse me. But I do want to go out to Australia. The only thing about Australia that scares me is the snakes out there. The people I knew out there was telling me that like you're gonna see some snakes if you, or I don't know which area they were in, but they was like you're gonna see some snakes if you come. Let's see. Okay, she hasn't responded. I heard Australia have really good health care. Oh, Troy, that's something I don't know if you just came to visit, but if there's anybody that's in the UK, America, even I'll probably say Australia, health insurance here is very cheap and very affordable. I pay, I think $2.30. I mean, I'll let you know the real price. Because the currency just changed again. I pay $2.42 a month for health insurance. And that covers everything. Unless there's like some very special thing that I need to get, but it covers everything. It covers dental. So if I go and get a cleaning, root canal, anything, it covers all of that and I don't have to pay any more cash. So the health insurance in Zambia is really good. And I don't think anybody's talking about that. one of the things I did want to talk about today is if you're, let me see, I have permanent residency and I have a NRC. To get health insurance here, you will need an NRC. I think it's, so there's mixed information. I think they're changing some of the immigration laws. It's anywhere between 5 and 7 years to get your citizenship. But with permanent residence here, and this is one of the best things about it that I love, is there's no restrictions. So like if I leave Zambia today, there's no timeline I have to come back. They didn't put any restrictions on you on that way. I don't know how long they're gonna keep it that way, but I'm loving it. So I like when you scan, I don't think my card not in here. When they scan the QR code for my permanent residency, it just comes up indefinite. So technically you're a citizen in my opinion, because like you don't have to get kicked out, you don't have to leave the country, and you don't have to redo another visa or reapply for residency. So I ended up getting my NRC. I have all of that done, health coverage. Right now I'm going to get life insurance next. I saw a life insurance saving company here where I'm gonna set aside like 5,000 kwacha a month, and it's a 5-year minimum that you have to save before you can get your money out. And so that'll put me at like 300,000 that I'm gonna save up personally. And I'm talking about kwacha, not dollars. And then from on top of that, you get 11% or 11.5% interest, and it compounds each year. So I think it'll bring it to like 330 some thousand kwacha, which that's a lot of money here for their currency and the way their economy. 300,000, that's a lot of money. Like I could either buy a bunch of land, develop some land, or and that's like, let's say if I want to get a car, that's getting a really nice car. But you can get a car here for about 80,000 kwacha, brand new, which is, let me see, about $3,200 US dollars. But I will end up getting citizenship once I hit the time frame to where I can get it. But what I'm gonna do, even while I'm still here, I'm gonna be going to different countries around Africa and seeing which ones have different permanent residences options or retirement options, and I'm gonna just start collecting residences. Because with COVID, I was stuck in Colombia in South America. And I don't want to be stuck in just one country ever again. Like I want to have the ability to legally move around. So like I'm looking at Madagascar, Cape Verde. What was that other country? I'm still looking into South Africa. I'm trying to find a way to get into there without having to marry a South African. And then there was another, Mauritius, the island of Mauritius. I'm looking into that one too. Because there's a lot of good places out here, man. But I was going to say, be cautious of these people on the internet that are selling you consultant fees when they're talking about how to relocate and travel to different countries. Now, I don't do that. It's just not my thing, personally. Because I feel like at the end of the day, any information that I'm learning hands-on, I'll just share it for free on the internet. Like I don't give people my personal number where they can just access me 24/7, because sometimes people abuse that. But be careful of that, because a lot of people that are selling you, consultation, I'll show you how to relocate, all of this, they don't have all the answers, man. Like a buddy of mine was asking me, hey, do you know anybody in immigration that can make things simpler? I just straight up told him, I was like, man, I'm still looking for someone. Like, I've met 2 people here that was trying to get the same retirement visa. One, they denied him. I don't really know why. They didn't really say why. And then the second one, he's just still been waiting. And like, let's think about it. Like if someone's telling you like, oh, just do this, do that. Like I'm giving you all of my processes that I did online, but I can't tell you why it worked for me and didn't work for someone else. And like also like I don't know if that those individuals did everything correctly or exactly the way I said I did mine. So just be cautious out here, man, because a lot of people are using these platforms to create revenue streams, which is good. Even with me, I'm using YouTube as a revenue stream. But the only difference is I'm using it to more create streams from ad revenue and things like that. So just be cautious out here with that. Did she text me? But if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to just come up and chat, just click on there, or let me put it back in the box. But don't sleep on Africa. I want to say that do not sleep on Africa. It's some really good living out here, very affordable compared to other countries I've been to, and it's peaceful. The amount of peace that's here is crazy. But Troy, if you're still on here, how long were you in Zambia? And what brought did you come for work or was you here for visiting? Because it's one of the countries most people don't know about Zambia. Also, you have Ghanaian. No, I haven't been to Gambia. Western Africa is not on my list right now. The one country I do want to go to in I think it's considered Western Africa, is Nigeria. But I just want to go there to look at fabrics. I think fabrics are a lot more affordable there. And so I want to go there to see if I can set up a supply shop, a supply line with sending fabrics here and selling them to designers. Just because I see with how much the naira has devalued, that it may be a good opportunity to create a business doing that. But not Ghana's not on my list. Excuse me. And the main reason Ghana's not on my list is I think it's more for the legal reasons of I don't see legal protections there for people coming in as foreigners when it comes to buying land and stuff. And that's what I see here in the southern region, which there's more legal protection here. So like I'm actually about to go next week, I think. I'm gonna go to an area called Mumbai, and I'm buying 5 hectares directly from the chief for about $550 US for 5 hectares. And that way I'll be actually in the village book. I'll have legal rights. I can transition the land over to title land in my name. It's just those little things that I'm seeing here that I don't know how legit they are in Ghana, because I'm hearing a lot of horror stories from people that got ripped off in Ghana. But it'll probably be on my list in a couple of years. Right now, the southern region is where my main focus, because there's a lot of business opportunities here. One, because the countries don't really do open trade with each other. And then the second one is most people are just looking into trying to just get to the United States and they're not looking at the opportunities that can exist here from some of the shortages where the government isn't really doing anything. Yeah, about $550 for 5 hectares. There's a lot of open land here and a lot of traditional land for sale here. Now you can find expensive land here. like you can find like even here, there's a plot, I think it's 26 by 40 meters for 850,000 kwacha, which is 34,000 US dollars for a small plot. So you can get those things here. But if you look at traditional land here, you can get traditional land here for a way better price. And I feel it's just as secure as buying title land personally. But yeah, I'm getting 5 hectares for 550 US dollars. And then I bought 20 hectares this is a remote village. It takes 2 days to get there, but it's in a place called Chama. And for that 20 hectares, I paid 141 US dollars. So like there's good deals out here. You need to know someone who knows the chief or someone that has family that is in that region. So like I'm looking now for land in an area called Chapata. I'm going back to the Copper Belt, and that's one of the reasons I'm gonna move there is I want to find some traditional land out there, get a few hectares and start a pig farm to see if I can start selling meat to DRC. So like that's one of the other reasons that I really love here because the land here is going for a great price, man. And a lot of people are not taking advantage of it. And so, like I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. She was like, "Man, where have you been? I ain't heard from you in a while. What's going on? Are you okay? You having kids?" And I told her, I was like, "Hey, I'm out here buying land because my goal is by next year, in the next year, I want to have at least 100 hectares of land just for farming. Because the thing that people don't talk about is what do everybody need on a daily basis? Food. So if you have the opportunity to farm, you can get rich farming. Like people need food to eat. And I don't think a lot of people are really thinking about that. I think a lot of people think like the great farmlands are just the farmlands that are being used. And it's like everywhere in the world, like the most profitable land used to probably be bad land or land that was overrun by bushes and shrubs. Like you just got to put in the work. And so now that I have the opportunity, I'm just willing to put in the work right now. Yeah, it's great business ideas out here. And the thing about it is, since I still earn dollars for my pension, it's like I might as well reinvest it, get an opportunity for that money to multiply, and set up for the future. Because once I do have children, that way it's things that I can pass down to them, and they're not starting from zero. Let me see, are you working today? Who's that? Who's that? Give me some tofu.
I can't keep overlooking the fact that people are content with fucking me over. I just can't keep taking it as light as that. You know what I'm saying? Because it might happen something where I really get fucked up next time. You know what I'm saying?
You niggas gonna be dead with prices on my head.
Yeah, for sure.
Why is my Google sign out?
Like, for sure. Like,
I was scared they would make a big yard out of your ass.
It's different from just talking shit on YouTube. Like, we can talk shit and pop shit on YouTube all day. You go to start canceling flights and all that, that's when you take this shit too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, motherfucker cancel my flight. I'm supposed to be at home right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a hotel in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not no game, bro. This is my real life. My mom, bro.
Hey man, you can be a sophomore, man. You got to take out some Johns down there too, man. You know, I'm well seasoned down there.
I keep forgetting my passwords.
Hey, Rolo, you fucking with.
Let's hit this word. Let me see. What are your thoughts on business being dominated by foreigners on the entire continent? I'll be honest with you, it's annoying at times. Especially, I don't like the way they treat you all. I have real big issues with that, especially with some of the Chinese and Indians, because there's no respect in a lot of them. However, there's no business skills here. And what I mean by that is there's fundamentals of business that's not being taught here. You know, because I don't mean this in a bad way, but going to universities don't teach you nothing. It teach you outdated principles that's in a book. It's not teaching you the things that's actually working on the ground in a business that's being successful right now. So a lot of people in Africa that I see are overeducated and they don't have the real life experience of how to run things. And so the few African businesses that are in play, it's like they just don't, there's little bitty skill sets they're not working on. And the other thing is like there's no training here. So I think like it's gonna take foreigners keep coming in to dominate business. But I think we have to look at it from the perspective of people from the diaspora, from the UK, Brazil, and the United States, and some of the Caribbean islands coming in, opening up mom and pop businesses, and them dominating that area. The big corporations, I don't think most of us can even play in that ballpark because we don't have the money for it. But I think the domination of mom and pop stores is where it needs to be. Because like I was explaining to someone, the more corporations come to Africa, the less the wage is going to be. Because like if, let's say you're a corporation and you can hire 10,000 people, you don't want to pay them a livable wage. You're going to tell the government like, hey, I need to be able to pay these people less than what livable wage is because I'm bringing this many jobs to you. But me coming in as a small business, I want to be able to pay you based off how much you can help my business earn. So it gives you more earning potential. And I think that's what Africa needs right now. It needs more small businesses that's going to give more earning potential. And then it's going to give more skill set training also. Because as you're seeing working for a business, how that business is making more money and becoming profitable, it gives you the opportunity to actually understand how to maybe you can partner with that company after you got enough skill set, or you can open your own, or you can open and franchise with that company to create a new store. It's what you see with a lot of the Somalian community when they move to different countries, where one guy open up a shop, get it running, bring in someone else, teach them the game, get them to open it, get it to a certain level of profit. Then they're investing in that person to actually open up their own store. And it's just reusing the same principles. And I think that's the most important thing about Africa, as far as making it better from a business perspective. I don't think there's a way to compete with the big companies. And when you have like, let's say the Chinese and the Indian, they're not just coming in as one person. They're usually coming in as a family unit, because they do more co-op spending, which doesn't exist in most Black communities at all. So like even with the Chinese, like you don't know if the Chinese government is backing them. So it's just one of those things, man, where we just gotta take it for what it is and just work in the lanes that are open for us. But I think I don't know about Western Africa, but at least the southern region, the areas that they're dominating, in all honesty, it's not affecting or helping anybody here. So yeah, they're building these big companies, have these jobs, but they're not really doing anything that's helping or hurting here. It's just putting money in their pocket, to be honest. In your opinion, what is stopping Africans from working together like Chinese, Lebanese, Indians? It's not just Africans, brother. It's all Black people. Like it's the same thing in Black America. It's the same thing in the Caribbeans, Black Brazilians, Black Colombians, Black Europeans, like the Black UK people. It's all of us, man. Whatever happened during colonization, it destroyed our core family unit. The things that we hold value to, tradition, respect, and all of that is some of the same things that keep us, in my opinion, it keeps us held back. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, how many of us have alcoholic or drug addict family members, and how many of us have family that's doing stuff that just ain't right, and we're not calling them on their shit? You know, it's like, if you know this person is bad with money, but yet because he's the oldest person, he's the elder, oh, he has to be in charge of money. Says who? Like, it's so many things. Like, just for this, and I'm gonna give a personal example of my life, and if it relates to you, just let me know in the comment. When my brother passed away, by the time and he passed away like 7 years ago, my middle brother, I was living out of the country, so I had to fly back to the United States. By the time I got there, they did so much illegal shit, such as acting like he was married, saying this woman's his wife. She wasn't legally married to him. And then from that, I'm working with his lawyer. Then they make some kind of deal with the lawyer where they're going to pay him so much money. So they took the money that should have been going to his kids. There was so much nonsense. And it's like, and I just came to the conclusion, how can we grow for the next generation when it's people that should be elders and they want to be treated with respect, but they don't want to earn the respect. And they're the ones that's making things worse. And I told people back home, I was like, dude, quit talking to me about white people this, white people that. I'm like, you all are the problem. Like, you all are the problem. It's Black people that's the problem. And they didn't like hearing me say it, but I'm like, dude, like, there ain't no white person that had anything to do with this funeral stuff. It's all you Black folks that are sitting here trying to steal from each other instead of do the right thing. This man passing away unexpectedly, and now his kids are just out here where they could have had a little bit of money in their pockets to maybe set up something for themselves, and they're just out here struggling. And on top of that, they're mourning the loss of their father, which you can't even bring emotional support to them. So I think it's a lot deeper than what we really realize. And I think Black people all around the world need to start getting mental health treatment. I've noticed we're one of the only communities that don't value mental health. And I think some of that is rooted in our religions. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but some of that is rooted in our religions. Like everything's black magic, everything's rituals, or everything's the devil. Sometimes the devil is ourselves. Like we want to blame everything on the devil, but except blame, like, I made a decision to be a bad person. And a lot of us don't want to hear that yet. It took me many, many years of mental health, uh, getting treatment, getting help, working with my late wife, and then starting to where I started self-diagnosing myself, truly studying psychology, because psychology is the study of self. So no one can study you better than yourself. And we do not do that. We don't value much introspection as a culture. We want to laugh, we want to have fun. Like we've been taught to value, oh man, life is hard. Oh, the suffering. And it's like, oh, what's the other one? Oh, struggles. Like, but when I tell you, man, like no matter what country I go to, there's always alcohol, there's beer, there's party, there's some kind of food. Like, and black people don't want to hear that, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. We do not want to hear that. It's too easier. It's so much easier for us to complain and blame another group instead of realizing our biggest problems is ourselves. Because just black Americans alone have a buying power of over $1 trillion. That's bigger than about 40% of the countries in this world GDP. Yet if everybody would just put $1 aside and put it together, we have the ability to start buying this world back. Like that's how easy it is. But you have to ask yourself too, if it's that simple, if everybody can just put $1, and this is $1, and no matter what your currency is, kwacha, rand, pesos, just one. If everybody was willing to commit to one, you could literally start buying this whole world back from every bit of colonization control. Why won't people do it? People are not going to do it. They're going to come up with as many reasons as to why it's going to be a scam. It can't work. And you got to start asking you, like, why? Where is this stuff deep rooted? And it's deeply in our subconscious mind. And a lot of us don't realize how much programming we're still living from generations ago. But that's a great question, man, because it used to bother me. I'll be honest with you. It used to bother me a lot because I used to get annoyed. Like when I was in Panama, I had an opportunity to get 100 hectares of land for 100,000 US dollars. And so I was trying to convince some of my family, I'm like, hey, this 100 hectares, guy. I'm like, this is over 200 acres of land. Like we all can come together, build our dream homes. Their first question was, well, whose house gonna get built first? I'm like, well, since I'm living here, I need to build my house first. And that way I can build it. Whenever you all come, you have a place to stay. But, oh, how we know you ain't gonna just steal the land? You building stuff for you, or we just paying for you? And I was like, you know what, man, forget it. I was like, if common sense don't tell you, like, why shouldn't you build your house first if you're not even living in the country full time? I was just like, I can't fight with y'all over this. And I ended up just like, you know what? I'll figure this out on my own. And that's why I'm so determined on getting land right now, because the opportunity was there. But when you need other people to chip in and help you, you get tired of it, man. And now I'm in a place where I can pretty much afford it on my own, just slowly buying it together, buying it over time. I'm just not letting this opportunity go. So like, I don't do any clubbing, no partying. I'm not out here drinking. I'm either in my house or I'm out looking at land. Like that's all I do right now. But what about you, Troy? What do you think? Do you see anything different, man? Like maybe you see something different from your perspective. Let me know. Oh, let me see if that's working now. That's the wrong channel. Damn it. Is it Facebook? I'm trying to figure out how to log into my TikTok live stream. I got kicked out of it. Man, I hate dealing with these passwords. Oh, come on, man. I'm about to reset the password. All right, I'll deal with this later. Yeah, but I'm about to do it on my phone. Let me see. I'm about to end up switching over to TikTok real quick. Go on there for a few minutes. Let me see. Do you really think you're gonna make it big financially in Zambia? Notice that there's so many people in Africa that never left the continent are extremely successful. Yes. Yes. I have never seen, so let me see. I lived in South Korea. I was in Iraq for a year. I lived in Colombia, Panama. I've been to the UK and London. I've been to different islands in the Western Caribbean, Jamaica. I've never seen as much opportunity to make money as I have in Africa. This includes South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, and Zambia. On top of that, that includes Rwanda. I don't think people realize how much money is actually here on the continent because all the resources come here. And the other thing is, I don't think people realize how affordable it is in Africa. If a lot of people, like even with some of the stuff that I'm buying, most people are not looking at it that are locals because a lot of people are looking at the flashy lights. And I'm looking behind that to see, okay, what's really there? Because like, give you an example, the land I bought in Chama, everybody tell me like, yo, that's 2-day drive, like nobody's going out there. I'm like, guys, it's a farm. You can ship stuff from your farm to the big cities. And people forget every big city was once a bush. Someone had to build it up. Even when you go to Johannesburg, South Africa, if you look at some of the old pictures, it was nothing there. And look at the city now. So I think a lot of us have forgotten to envision the future and we're just looking at what's in front of us now. So I think here in Zambia, just from farming, there's going to be a lot of money in that. Because I don't know if you all as Africans really understand, like most of the other world is going through a death decline, meaning they're not birthing enough kids to continue most of their populations for long time stability. Y'all don't have that problem in Africa. There is no problem in Africa with birth rates. It's a very strong birth rate here, which is amazing. And so people are going to need more food. Like people need food. People are going to always need to eat. And also like, just because, let's say if you have enough food that's already produced for Africa, most of these other countries can't produce food anymore. Like the United States, most of their land is barren because they're using too many chemicals and pesticides. Southeast Asia is just too overpopulated and dirty. Their hygiene conditions are not the best as far as countries. South America, just overpopulated regions. So like there's so much opportunities for just exports. And then once just the African countries break down some of these old colonial border laws they have, once Africa opens up, whoever is creating food and can ship food to each country's like with the DRC where they're not producing food, they're just mining. Like for me to be, if I'm in a place where I'm on the border with DRC, that's a whole region that I can be providing food for. It's so much money, man. It's so much money. And I think everybody think you got to have these huge farms. And the truth is you just need to be able to supply consistently. So that's one of the other reasons where on the land, on the map, I'm getting farms in different areas. So like I think the area of Chapata is where it's more water. So like there, I want to start rice farms and start fish farming. I think it's going to be a really good business, and you can be selling smoked fish. And here's the funny thing: I don't eat meat. I'm vegan, but to be able to provide sustainable food sources for people, I'm cool with that, and I feel like that's doing God's work. Like I can wake up very happy each and every day knowing that I'm making money, providing food for people, and it's going to be a clean sourced food, not doing contaminations or pollutants, not trying to harm people, just trying to employ people and actually be able to make money off of it. And so I think, not that I think, I know it's going to be a lot of money coming in from that. Let me see. But Troy, do you plan on moving back to Africa? And if so, which country? Personally, I'd love to settle in Zambia in the next 10 years. Pieces unmatched. Ah, man, I agree with you. If I was you, brother, the first thing I would be doing is setting aside money. Because if you're in Australia, your currency is going to be higher. Thursday. Oh, shoot. I have to go to do that. Because your currency is going to be higher. I would start setting aside money. And then I would start slowly buying land here. Buy some land here to where you have enough where you can probably build your own home and have a farm or something going. Because you're just not going to go wrong with a farm. As far as business to support yourself, really it's up to you, man. Like, I don't have it in here with me. Like, one of the other businesses that I'm starting here is a landscaping business. Because they're still using the sling blades to cut the grass. So they're cutting the grass with blades. They're not really using weed eaters, lawnmowers. So everything take a long time because like that's tiring work. You just hunched over, slinging all day long. So what I'm doing now, the Stored Gain, they have just leaf blowers on sale and they're like 60% off. It was, I think regular price was, hold on, let me pull up my converter. I like to give real prices, not just estimate them. Regular price is $51 US, and they have them on sale for $23. So like every month I'm buying one or two of them, and I'm just stockpiling equipment. So then once they get weed eaters on sale, I'm gonna start buying those, lawnmowers, all of those different things. And then I'm gonna just set up a landscaping business. So like right now, what people don't see is me just slowly stocking up on supplies, but I'm getting them as they're cheap. I'm not buying them at full price. I'm buying them half off. And so a lot of people, they be looking at me like, what is this dude buying this for? But they don't realize the bigger picture is just, I'm literally just getting the equipment for the business at a discount. And that's one of the other things I would say do is whatever business you see in Australia, you can do here. It's just about doing it, be smarter instead of just throwing money at the problem. So many people think you have to just throw money at it, and that's not the case. What's the minimum amount of money you would move to Zambia with to live permanently? I would say if you, depending on, one, it depends on your lifestyle. I say if you can bring in monthly, if you're bringing in monthly anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 US dollars, you're good. Now, also that includes like, what are your extracurricular activities? Are you out here chasing women? Are you someone who drinks? Do you club, party? All those things are considerations because let's say if you're someone who like to chase after a lot of women, I would say for each vice that you have, add an extra $1,000 to it because things may come a lot more affordable here, which means you're going to be doing it more frequently. So if you're a big drinker, I would say add in an extra $500 to $1,000. If you're a big partier, clubber, add an extra $1,000. Like it really depends on your lifestyle. Like if you see my lifestyle, I'm very laid back. I don't party. I don't club. I don't go out to eat a lot. What I do is I actually hired a chef to cook for me. I pay $140 a month for her to come. She cooks me meals 3 times a week. I probably pay another $100 US a month if and that's just for food alone. And that's depending if I have her cook a lot of different things. Like right now, she's just cooking mainly beans and rice for me and then make some kind of green vegetables. So I'm bringing my budget down as far as food a lot. But because I hate giving a price and I don't understand what your actual lifestyle is. Like my house, I pay $200 US a month. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. That's my kitchen there, 2 bathrooms over there to the left, and the 2 bedrooms in the back. It's really dependent on what you really, how you want to live your life. But you don't need a lot. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say because you're from Ghana, you may be used to some kind of traditional African living. So you may be able to do it on 1,500 to 2,000 US dollars. But if you're someone coming from the United States or straight from the UK, I would really recommend to bring in at least 3,000 because there's going to be a learning curve. You're used to buying certain things or certain name brands because that's just what your mind is going to see. And so you will probably want to actually, in the beginning, you'll probably just be buying the things that you know until you get used to buying the things that's locally here that's cheaper. Trying to think, am I missing something with that? If it's something I'm missing, let me know that you want me to talk about. You'll probably, if you're not comfortable driving on the right-hand side, like here, you'll probably be using Yango more in the beginning. So you'll want a good size budget for transportation. What I do is I actually have guys that I met through Yango, which is their Uber service. And the ones that drive real good, that are punctual, I use them personally. And so like, let's say if you're here, I'll just give you their number and that way you can just use them. And they're affordable. They're not trying to rip you off or nothing like that. So that is one of the other benefits to that. Okay, so yeah, so you won't have a problem driving. Yeah, see, like I live pretty frugal too, man. Like I left for the military at 18, so I've done a lot of that having fun stuff that you see people doing on the internet now. I'm past that stage of life. And so I don't really care about that stuff anymore. I'm about setting my foundation and my legacy for when I'm no longer here. So like, also like I'm looking at 10 hectares in Chongwei, which is about 20 minutes from me, real close to Lusaka. And for those 10 hectares, I'm looking at paying about $800 US. And so like once I get that land, that's when I'm gonna really put in building a house. But each farm I build, I purchase. I'm sorry, I'm going to end up putting a little house on there, and I'm looking at actually those pop up homes that pop out because you don't really need much here. But I'm also looking into windy homes also from South Africa. I can get the materials for about $500 to 1,000, and it's big enough to build a good 1 bedroom studio size flat. Oh no, I don't, man. So like for me, I'm getting a car next year. Um, but like I've driven on the right hand side. Like while I was in Botswana, I was driving out there. South Africa, I don't drive in. It's just a little too chaotic for me. But here it's not bad. And like if I need to go into town, I wouldn't drive. I would just use one of my car service people. Um, so like I'm real cautious. Like if I'm not comfortable driving, I don't drive in those areas. But like driving to Ndola or driving the countryside, I do plan on doing that. But I will say here it's more outside of in town in Lusaka, it's more orderly driving here. South Africa was just a hot mess. They were just on something completely different. Let's see. Let me see. I'm finna do a dual live, so I'm finna pull up TikTok. So I'm gonna do that. Hold on 1 second. That's where I'm at. I'm actually in Ibex Hill. Um, I'm in Ibex Hill and I completely agree with you. The land out here is overpriced. It's not worth it at all. Um, do not buy in Ibex Hill. Honestly, I would. My advice is not to even buy in Lusaka. Lusaka is overpriced. It's an overpopulated city. Um, People are going to have to start moving farther out, especially places like Chongwei and even Kofiwe. People are going to be moving farther out, and it's going to be cheaper for them to transport back and forth between to Lusaka to work. I believe Lusaka is just going to become a working city. Um, and it's all because of the layout of Lusaka. They did not organize it right. If you look at the old videos when Dr. Kenneth Kaunda first took over, the city was very orderly and organized. Something happened from that when he first took over to now. It like went through some kind of development boom, but not in an organized way. Like everything is just overpopulated. Like even to extend the roads is damn near impossible because you have businesses just all along everywhere and they're all back on top of each other. And even residences, like they didn't create the streets orderly. Like, let's say if I built my land here, you built your land here, we may have different entrances to get into our doors. And it's like you have to have that order. It's a lot of stuff they just did wrong here. It's just poor planning. Um, and I don't think there's a way around it except like there's CBD. The only way you could rebuild that is to build it up correctly. You have to tear everything down and start over from scratch. There's just no space to even set up a construction site to renovate the buildings. Like you go to renovate one building, you're gonna create a 3 hour traffic jam, if not 5 hours. So like because of that, they didn't do a good job organizing everything. Let's see how this looks. But yeah, I bet Hill is overpriced. Don't buy land out here. Go to Chongwei. Go to Kofiway. Like I'm looking into land in Kofiway to see if I can find some stuff out there. I think it's Chapata where there's an island out there somewhere. So I want to go find that area, look for land there. Um, I wouldn't do anything in Lusaka. Maybe Lusaka West is still somewhat considered the city, but like if you're familiar with 10 miles going up to 15 miles, the problem with that area is the road. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, what's up, Mansa Musa? Like what stopped me from wanting to get land in that area is they have to expand that road. Past 15 miles, they're starting to expand because I took the bus to Ndola. What's the name of that? Chimbomba. Like I would buy land in Chimbomba. I would get land out there because they're starting to expand it. But even with 10 miles, 13 miles, 15 miles, I wouldn't get land there. Let me see. I don't know who you are. What's that? Lusaka West, I would get land there. Only problem with Lusaka West is just there's nothing there. So I was looking at plots in Lusaka West. What stopped me was it was the plots that was left over that nobody really wanted. So everything else was already taken ahead of it. But like if I purchase land in Lusaka West, I would purchase it just for the intent of building a grocery store. Because once people start building there, they're going to need a grocery store. I would build a hardware store there. I wouldn't do residential there. That's what I saw from when I went out there. Hey, what's up, everybody? So I'm doing a dual live stream. I'm talking on YouTube and talking on TikTok, trying to see how this worked today. Make sure I'm not forgetting nothing. Let me set this up. If you have any questions, just come up and chat. Just shoot an invite. You can come up and chat. But yeah, Lusaka West, you can get a plot from as little as 2,000 kwacha, I believe. And that was a 20 by 20. That's about 80 US dollars. And they had some going up to, I think, 5,000 kwacha. So about 170, 180 US dollars. And it depends on which company you using. So you can do that with Lusaka West. It's a good area. The reason though I was looking at Lusaka West is I wanted to actually, I wanted to develop tiny homes for the college students out there. But where the land was that I was looking, it was just too far. And there was no way for them to commute in a reasonable way. Like there was no buses and stuff out there for them to really commute. So that's why I had to axe that plan. And then that's when I started looking into Mumbai. But the other thing too is, Troy, you may also look into the areas where the minerals might be. Because I'm telling you, the minerals, there's a lot of minerals here, man. I don't think people realize it. People use minerals. Like I saw in one yard, people had, it was just emerald stones. And they just had it to go around their tree as a base. And I was like, are those emeralds? They said, oh, I don't know. They're just pretty rocks. And I went and looked at them. I'm like, these are emeralds, man. You know, these are minerals. Like, you just using these as like decoration for your yard. So that's one of the things I don't think a lot of people are looking at out here too. So you acquire enough land out here, you're guaranteed to have some minerals on it. But definitely look into Lusaka West. I told the people once they get new land in Lusaka West to let me know, shoot me a text. I just don't like picking from leftovers, what people have already picked from. I feel like you're just gonna have issues with how much you really getting and stuff. And then when people already start building, you never know someone like, let me just go a few couple of inches over. You gotta be cautious of that. Hey, come on, man. Let me see, what time is it? 7:40. Oh, I do it on the gas stove. Yeah, it's really resource rich. I'm actually, what's my paperwork? I don't have my paperwork near me, but I'm actually looking into getting a minerals permit license, permit here, to where if I get minerals, I can move them around the country, move them around in and out of the country. And it costs 2,100 kwacha for 3 years. It's actually affordable. I actually, I think it's about 84 US dollars, and it lasts for 3 years. And who's coming up here? Let me see. And what I'm doing for that is, like, if I'm able to get into the DRC and trade food for like minerals, that's the end goal with that one. Hey, what's up, Stanley? But yeah, there's a lot of minerals here, man. There's minerals just sitting here on top of the ground. And they even pave their streets with minerals. Like different crystals and stuff are in the rocks. They just use the gravel out. And I'm a big person that into minerals and stuff. So it's crazy. Like you can get pieces of what's the one that I just bought? Hey, I forgot the name of it that quick. I just got the it's the purple stone. I can't remember. It just slipped my mind. I just bought a big, like a one bigger than my hand, and I didn't even pay 20 US dollars for it. Who taught me so much about business? Self-taught. Once COVID, well, actually before COVID, when I left the US, I was like, I'm gonna retire. I'm not doing shit else with my life. I don't want nobody else to. I'm like, I'm never gonna walk. I'm not walk. I mean, I'm not gonna work. I'm just gonna sit and retire on a beach and just drink. That was my whole plan. I did that for a year and a half in Panama. I started going crazy. I was like, okay, shit, I gotta do something. I gotta hustle to do something. And so I got into network marketing. And with network marketing, it really started teaching business skills because I had nothing but time on my hand. And so from there, I became craving it because after you make that first dollar on your own, man, you like, wait, why wasn't I taught this as a kid? Like all this stuff I went to school for, all this advanced mathematics, learning English for all this time, it was a waste of time. School is a waste of time. And so then from the things that I learned in the military, from an analytical perspective, it started really helping when I was learning the business skills. But from the business skills, what I started realizing was you don't learn from a book. You learn from people who are doing business or who've done that business. And you just take their information and you apply it to what you're doing. And so then from there, I started investing a lot of time and money into actually going to seminars, going to professional development events. All of these things that we make fun of in Black communities, like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. It's people who are not going there and doing that stuff. And they don't see what's really going on there. Like, if you don't believe you can do business, you will never do business. And I started realizing too, like, us as Black people, we've taught to just been able to work. We have not been taught to believe that we can be successful, believe that we can build our own life, build our own future. And a lot of it is belief in yourself. And so those things that I learned from professional development events, which I still do to this day, like even now, like next week, I have a 5-day 5-day financial wealth event that I'm doing. One day is going to be about stocks. And like, I don't learn stuff from each of those things. I just take my biggest takeaways from them and I just apply them using analytical skills to what type of businesses that will work for me. And so like doing those things. And then, damn, what was I going to say? Sorry, I looked over there and lost my train of thought. But doing those things, did power go? No. Doing those things, and then I keep from traveling. That's what I was going to say. From traveling, I've seen businesses ran successful in different types of cultures. And so like I tell people, if you want to learn how to run a restaurant, a club, or a bar, you need to go to Southeast Asia. Those are the people that know how to run those restaurants. Certain things are ran better in the UK. Certain things are ran better in the US. Like the US teaches you the best of how to train your staff. That's one of the things the US does hands down better than anyone. Like, what is customer service? Like, how do you actually use psychological principles to keep people coming back? So like customer retention, hands down, is only taught the best in the United States. There's other places that mimic it, but I mean, to learn how it's taught and seen in action is the United States. You go to, like, let's say you go to a Walmart. No, let me not use Walmart. Let's say you go to a Whole Foods. There's a reason why people are willing to pay $100 for like 5 items. When you go in there, as soon as someone see you, they are going to speak to you and greet you like, hey, how you doing, sir? How you doing, ma'am? Do you need any help? That right there disarms you on a psychological level, and you start feeling more comfortable because now you feel like, oh, I'm in a comfortable, friendly place. How many places do you go to in Africa? I'm just using Africa because I'm living here. How many places do you go to? People will look you in the eye and they will not say shit to you. Or someone will see that you're at the register ready to check out and they're talking on their phone. Those little things, you start at a psychological level, you start looking at like, how much money am I spending here? Because now you're not feeling appreciated. You don't see value in that business. And so you're starting to look for reasons not to come back more than you're looking for reasons to come back and overspend. Like, let me give you an example. ShopRite in South Africa, in Joburg. I will never go to a ShopRite in Joburg. They were some of the most disrespectful people. They treat you like you're a criminal. You know, like, one of the things in the US, if you notice, they don't check receipts anymore. They don't even really care if you steal too much, because they realize the more you treat someone like a criminal, the less money they're willing to spend and the less time they're willing to keep coming back here. People will go to the same Walmart, Target, or any other department store in the US multiple times in one day. And that's one of the reasons. I have a training on it in Bob Proctor's program. I had to bring it up, but it speaks about it. They figured this out in like the 1960s, that the less you treat a person like a criminal, the more money they're willing to spend and the more times they're willing to come back to you. It's just a whole part of customer retention. And that's what made the US go from where majority of the things were locked up or put on shelves to where someone have to help you, to where they then started putting everything right at eye level and letting you reach and touch the products yourself. So like, there's a lot of things on the continent that are set up the same, but they don't understand the principles, because they're not teaching the principles of why those things were set up that way. And so that's how you have businesses that are successful, but they're not doing as much business as they should be doing. Yes, I'm a big follower of Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor. I'm actually in Bob Proctor. I'm not actively in it anymore, but with Bob Proctor, I have his whole, I think 12 of his courses where he breaks down a lot of these principles. One of them is working with the laws, and it's teaching you how to work with the universal laws for business. Hey, if you have questions on TikTok, just hit me up. I'm just chatting on YouTube, answering some questions here. Thought I'd go on TikTok too, since I ain't been on here forever. Also, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna go live while I'm walking today. But yeah, Jim Rohn, really great one. And that's good you brought him up. So like, if you really start studying some of the wealthiest people, not politicians, I'm not talking about the criminals, like people who have business wealth that actually earned it, you start realizing, man, they came from humble backgrounds. They did not come from money, and they did not come from education. And we got to stop this rhetoric that we need to go to universities to become successful. Most people are going to universities and wasting money. It's a waste of money. And I know people don't want to hear that, but we got to stop this. Oh, I can't get a good education and get a good job. Like, there's no jobs. There are no jobs in this world. Cece, my late wife, she was a doctor. She had a doctorate degree in social work. Plus, she was a licensed clinical social worker. She was making more money writing kids' books and writing journals and planners, selling them on Amazon than she was working her profession. Her boss that was in charge of her had a bachelor's degree. It was a white American woman with a bachelor's degree who did not know anything about clinical social work. And she worked for one of the biggest insurance companies in the world. I want to say she invested almost 150,000 US dollars, and I'm gonna aim low here, for her education because she went to some of the more elite schools like Baylor University, and she was capped out at 75,000 US dollars a year. Her boss, who had nothing to do with social work and was not qualified, was making well over 100,000 US dollars a year. It was affirmative action at place. Like, there's things legally in place that we don't realize, like going to school ain't helping us. So there's no point in going to school. Like, the money you're using to pay for college, if you took that money, invested it in a business, and consistently worked that business year after year, after 5 or 6 years, you'll have enough on ground knowledge to build a successful business. Most companies know that it takes only about 5 years of consistency to figure out enough things you're doing wrong to do it right. So, like, what's the point of us paying for university that has no return of interest except you're hoping you're getting a job? And let's be real, how many 20-year-olds are out here fighting for jobs that some 40, 50-year-old do not want to get rid of? Even when I was at the post office, there was a guy there, he was maybe 70. He'd been working there over 50 years. And I asked him, I was like, bro, when you gonna retire? And this was a white guy. He was like, oh man, I'm not ready yet. I still got too many bills. And I told him, I'm like, if you still got too many bills to retire, man, when is it not gonna be enough bills to retire? I'm like, you've been here 50 years in a government job. You have a whole pension that's just sitting there. Well, you'll probably be making 4,000 US dollars a month. And I'm like, when the hell is it going to be enough? And no one ever asked him that question because he was just like blank face. He was like, I never thought about that. And I'm like, dude, I told him, he was like, well, how long are you going to be here? I was like, bro, I'm quitting at 50. By the time I hit 50 years old, if I don't have enough money to make it, God going to figure out how to provide for me. I'm not staying here. When I was a kid, I made up in my mind that I will not work past 50 years old. I didn't see a point in it. I saw no point in it. And I don't think a lot of us are thinking about that. Like, life isn't going to get cheaper. So if we can't work our way out of the expenses of a life, how are we going to get it? Sometimes I think people will learn more from reading, Think and Grow Rich than completing. Yes. Than university and going into the world with debt. Oh, completely true. So TikTok, this statement says, sometimes I think people will learn more from reading, Think and Grow Rich than completing university and going into the world with debt on your head. Completely true. Think and Grow Rich. Also, We Were Born Rich. That is another book. Those two books should be taught in school more than anything else. You don't need to understand math. You're going to learn how to do math as you're getting money and transacting with money. Let's be honest. Once you speak English, learn the basics. You don't need English anymore. Most of us don't even speak proper English. I'm a native English speaker, and my English is horrible. I'll be completely honest with that. I'm even at the point where I don't even think too much in English anymore. I think more in Spanish than I do in English, which is crazy. But like, university and school is a waste of time and money. It's a trap. It's worse than paying taxes. I'm gonna be real with you. And I'm not knocking people who, like, if you just one of those and you just want to go and get that achievement, go get that achievement. But that achievement ain't gonna make you rich. I feel like as many African brothers and sisters I run across in Africa with advanced degrees, I'm talking about, I've met chemists, agricultural specialists, I met economic people. I met a guy who his whole thing was he went to school to learn how to deal with the whole cholera situation and waterborne diseases, driving a Yango, economists driving a taxi bus, agriculturists driving a Yango. I met pharmacists, like all of these people. And I'm like, bro, you should be rich. You shouldn't be driving a Yango. You shouldn't even be in this field right now. This is my thing with the university. If they're going to charge you money to go to school and do these things, that means there should be a high demand for you in the workplace. Like Zambia alone, how many Zambian women have I met that are nurses? If you're in any type of place in Zambia and you have a medical emergency, I guarantee you there's going to be at least 5 nurses around you at any given time. There's going to be someone to help you any given time. There's so many nurses in this country, but none of these people have jobs. So it's like, what is the point of going to university? Like, people are not thinking about that anymore. And so many of our families, I think they want us to not suffer the way they suffer, but they're not looking at the other end of the situation. How many people are going to get these advanced degrees and their only way to really make money is driving a Yango or working at a ShortBrite, working at a grocery store? They're not doing their field. Practically every second person in Africa has, yes, that is completely, I have never seen as many advanced degrees as I have in Africa. You don't see all these degrees in Southeast Asia. You see people working in family businesses, learning businesses. You don't see Indians with all these advanced degrees. They're working their family business. They're learning business skills. Like, even with the Chinese people, you don't see all these Chinese people walking around with advanced degrees. They're working in their family businesses. Like, and I think it goes back to your question earlier, like, what is the difference? These people are working businesses. When you see an Indian or a Chinese person working a shop, they have a business. Their kids work that business. And we're talking about at a young age, they learn that business. So then by the time they get to their teenage years, they're able to start running their own shop. We're the ones that's in school. And now it's like, where's this school money going? Because if I'm paying all this money to a university and you're not having jobs for me, that's theft. I'm sorry, that's just theft to me. You cannot be charging people all of this amount of money for these advanced degrees and there's no jobs for them to go to. Like here, someone that I know who works in the hospital as a nurse. Well, not technically work, but working in a hospital as a nurse, because there's not much. I don't even know how to explain this. Like, this is the weirdest thing to me in the world. There's a shortage of nurses in this country. There's a plethora of people with nursing degrees, and there are even more people that's in nursing school right now. But there's no jobs for them to actually get full-time employment. They can do like internships where they're doing everything that a full-time employer do. They're not getting paid for it, or they're getting paid very little just for transportation. Yet there's a shortage. So like here at night, the hospitals usually only have 1 or 2 nurses on staff. This is a huge ass city. There's maybe 3 million people? I'm gonna aim very low. 3 million people in this city. And of 3 million people any given night, do you think every hospital that's around can actually do their job fully with just 1 or 2 nurses working? Like, it's insane. Yet there's so many qualified nurses here. When the cholera outbreak was horrible, all of these nurses that was been sitting around trying to get jobs, they all had a place to go work. And like they're exporting more nurses here to other countries in the world than they're actually employing here. It's like something doesn't add up. What is the point of school? Like we have to start questioning this stuff now. Like we can't just keep saying like, oh, well, one day it's going to change. We need to talk. What are we going to do today? Like today, financially, how are we going to change things? Like this one day shit ain't going to work. And this going to school to get a better job, I have not seen it help anybody yet. Even with me, and I had a buddy of mine that I grew up with. He dropped out of school in 1999. He dropped out because of Y2K. I don't even know if that was a thing here in Africa. People thought because the year 2000, the computers are going to take over or something stupid, like the lights ain't going to come back on. This shows you how Americans ain't prepared for no electricity. So the world's going to come to an end because of the year 2000. It was the dumbest thing in the world. And I told him, I was like, bro, even if the electricity cuts off, the sun is going to come up about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. What does it matter? You have 12 hours of sunlight. So is it really that big of a deal? Like we have to start unliving people just because the electricity didn't come on? So he said, no, you stupid, man. I'm finna drop out. You can sit here and stay in school if you want. I was like, okay, cool, bro. Just in case, I'd rather hedge my bets and I'll just finish school because at least with a high school diploma, I can do more than a dropout. Hey, that was pie in my face because was I wrong or was I wrong? This dude ended up getting a job at an oil rig making $100,000 a year while I'm sitting in the military fighting a war making about $25,000 or $30,000 a year. Like, if that ain't pie in your face, someone can just drop out of high school because of the stupidest reason. And let's just be real. That's a stupid reason to drop out. I would have more respect for someone to say, look, man, I'm just tired of school. I don't want to do it. But to say because of Y2K, the world's coming to an end, that was just stupid. But who's the real stupid person? I'm the one that was fighting in war for a little bit of nothing, risking my life. He was risking his life on an oil rig, but he was making over $100,000 a year. Like we got to start looking at these things. And these are the things that we're not talking about because I think a lot of us are afraid to be honest about this whole education system because we don't want it to be right. But the truth is, it's a ripoff. How am I coping with load shedding? I've given up. I just know I tell people now, I just overpay to live in the bushes. So what time is it? It's 8. Load shedding is going to hit here anywhere between the next hour to 2 hours. And then it'll come back probably around 1900 or 2000 hours. Let me see who wants to come up. Kanya. I hope I can say your name right. Musa Kanya, how you doing? Okay, they came off. Hey, Scorpio Queen, how you doing today? Been a long time since I've been on here. But yeah, load shedding ain't that bad. It's annoying, don't get me wrong, because it's getting in the way of a lot of digital content that I'm doing. But besides that, it is what it is. I have a little gas cylinder stove, but I think I'm gonna buy a charcoal stove. I prefer to cook on that than cook on gas. Y'all a lot braver than us in America. We don't really mess with gas like that. Because from Texas, and probably because Texas was such a hot state, those you always heard about those gas containers blowing up. What's up, TikTok fam? How everybody doing? I'm back on here. Had to take some time off, get some things situated. How you been doing, Scorpio Queen? You been doing all right? So for my TikTok fam, I'm not putting as much video. Well, I'm not putting any videos on TikTok right now. I'm doing more long form content now. So I'm putting videos on YouTube. So that's where you have to see the videos now. Jason Chaney 777 on YouTube. Just got back from Ndola. Cool trip. Man, it was a pretty city. It was nice seeing a clean city. Oh, Troy, that's the other thing. If you haven't been in Ndola, the Copperbelt region, go there, man. It's more organized. It's clean. A lot less chaotic than Lusaka. It's the only catch with starting over with digital content. They will stop promoting you. Usually I have about 100 people on by now. Let me see who dunk on here. Sleep. Oh, I need to message you. Okay, let me do that. Let me see. What do you think of the local cuisine? I personally don't like it. Ghana's food is far superior. Let me say, as far as local, I don't eat street food here in Lusaka. It's just too dirty. I just don't trust the street food here. No knock to people who cook food and sell on the street. I just don't trust it. Because I'm vegan, I don't eat any meat. So I don't eat much of the local food, to be honest with you. That's why I just hired a chef and just have her cook for me. And I'm going to be honest with you. I find Spanish food to be superior. Mexican food is the best food in the world. Spanish people cook with love. Like if you know that love they tell you about in the Spanish language, man, they put that shit in their food. You will fall in love with a Spanish cook. Like I haven't had any African food yet to where I was just like, oh man, I love this. Like there's food that I like a lot. And there's food that I will go to, but it's not like, oh man, the way Colombians cook and Spanish people cook, Mexican food. There's something about people who speak Spanish. When they cook for you, it's like they put their heart and soul in it. I feel like African food is just a bunch of meat, man. Because I'm from Texas and like we were meat eaters. And now that I don't eat meat, it's like, I'm like, it's just meat focused, like boiled meat, fried meat. So it's like even here, like if I go to a restaurant, 9 times out of 10, I can just order chips. Everything's either meat or cheese in it or some kind of milk in it. I have 2 restaurants that I go to here on a weekly, not weekly, like every 2 weeks. I may go to, one is a Indian restaurant, and the other one's a Chinese restaurant. So I can't talk about the food here. I don't know. Also here, like, I don't think, what's a nice way to say it? I don't think there's real chefs in the restaurants. I think people are just made to cook. They're just cooks. But when people cook from their home, it's like restaurant quality. It's a little backwards here to me. If you want real good food, have someone cook for you. It's going to taste better than anything I feel like you can eat out here. So I just don't do much eating out here at all. But I do like enchima, pop. I don't know what you call it in Ghana, but I do like that because it just reminds me of eating grits in a way, just cold grits. So that doesn't bother me. Man, I need to go. I need to cook some tofu. Let me see. What's going on this end? Hope I ain't missing comments over here. Is my internet good for everyone on TikTok? Is it coming through good? Because my computer is saying my internet's bad. Let me see. All right, let me see. I've been on here for no, it's the one Golden Chopsticks. It's the one by in between East Park Mall and Manda Hill Mall. It's on the right hand side, right after Mulingushi, the Mulingushi Conference Center. It's right after that. That's the one I go to. If you're talking about the ones at JCS Mall, I don't go there anymore. They annoyed the crap out of me. So okay, story time. So I went to JCS Mall to order some food. Trying to support locally, but see what the food looked like. I was gonna videotape it. So I asked them, because they had a tofu dish that I could eat, and then I asked them in fried rice, vegetable fried rice. And I was like, hey, do anybody have any vegetable dumplings? Not vegetarian, vegetable. I was like, with just veggies in it. Oh, yes, they have it over there. And this goes back to customer retention. Everybody's so busy just trying to make a sale instead of making sure they're giving you what you actually want. And so then it comes and there's eggs in it. And I was like, hey, I didn't ask for vegetarian dumplings. I asked for dumplings with vegetables. Oh, no, that is vegetable. I'm like, an egg is not a vegetable. An egg comes from a chicken. Which goes to a whole other thing. Like, I don't even understand why this BS of eggs should not be considered vegetarian. Milk should not be considered vegetarian. Like, it comes from an animal. And so then they're looking dumbfounded. And I'm like, dude, just have the boss come here so I can explain this to him. So you can't be making these mistakes when tourism start kicking up here. Because then you're going to have real big problems or you can kill somebody. Like food allergies is a real thing. Like I had bought jollof rice here one day from the store. I did my research and it said jollof rice it's pretty much vegetarian. But I didn't know some people use chicken stock or beef stock. They put some kind of chicken or beef in there. When I ate it, my entire body started itching and I was getting rashes. Taking cold showers didn't help, so I had to go buy allergy pills, and I took like 4 or 5 of them. That's how bad it was. And then it finally calmed down. And so I was like, hey, let me speak to your boss so I can try to explain to him, like, yo, he needs to teach you all this. They're so busy worried, like, are you going to pay for it? Because I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck about paying for the meal. I'm like, this cheap meal don't mean nothing to me. I'm like, you could have killed me. There's a bigger issue here. And they just couldn't get it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I was like, I'm never coming here again. So like JCS Mall, I don't eat at because I don't like that. Like, don't sit here and tell me you have something instead of listening to what I'm asking for. And then when you fuck up, you're so busy worried about money going to come out of your pocket for your fuck up. And I was just like, this little $2 thing isn't important as my life. And so I was just really annoyed on that. And I've never been there. I'll never go there again. And I don't even recommend it to people because I'm just like, if this is how you're going to treat a customer and you don't care about that customer's health and you're in the food industry, I don't want to ever support you. So that's why I do not support JCS. And if you're working from JCS, that's why I don't come to your restaurant, and I never will. Just because that annoys the shit out of me. Even it's a new Chinese place at Amanda Hill called Bamboo Palace, I think. I asked them the same thing. I was like, hey, are your spring rolls vegetarian? Because for spring rolls, vegetarian spring rolls is just vegetables. It had beef in it. Luckily, I'm at a place where I don't just bite down on something if I've never had it at the restaurant. So I opened it up and there was beef in it. Then I went back and told them, like, I asked you if this was vegetarian. There's meat in this. And they were just looking stupid. And so I was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I'll never come here again. And I'm one of those, when I say I'm never going to a place again, I'm never going there again. Like, I'm not that hard off on places to eat to where I need to come to your establishment. And what a lot of these employees don't get is it don't take that many people to stop coming before that restaurant closes down. Most restaurants are at like a 5% profit margin anyway. And so you lose anywhere from 10 to 15 customers, you can be shut down in a month. Like, I don't think people understand those fundamentals of business. Like, it's better to make less sales and tell the truth so a person can know what they can order than you sell them something and then sit and act stupid because you don't want to have to pay for it. You're a mess up. And then you end up losing checks that could be coming in for the rest of the lifetime of that business. I don't think people look at those things. Would I open a bar in Lusaka? No. I would invest with someone who, and maybe if it's their dream of opening a bar, there's certain things I just will not do. I really think Black people as a whole, we need to get away from drinking. I think not only are we functional alcoholics, I believe the whole world has now become immune to functional alcoholism. And what I mean by that is alcohol is a drug. And me as someone who is pro cannabis, I have issues that the things that I like to use, my medicine choices, are considered drugs. And we overlook alcohol as a drug also, just because it's legal. You don't see people on cannabis driving with cannabis and getting in accidents. You don't see people on cannabis fighting, being belligerent. You don't find them doing obscene things to people. And as a cannabis advocate, I am anti-alcohol establishment. But from a business perspective, I will never turn down a potential to earn money, because as I have kids, I want to have as much money for them. So like if someone came to me with a very good fundamental business plan and it wasn't like some insane amount of money, or if there was enough investors in, I would invest, because it's not my vice. I still believe also I don't have the right to pass judgment on what other people want to do for their life. Even though people pass judgment on cannabis smokers or cannabis users, I don't pass judgment on others, but I will tell people my opinion of alcohol, which is I don't agree with it. And I think it's very detrimental to the Black culture as a whole. There's too much alcoholism in our culture, and there's too much nonsense around it. Like the last time I saw my family, it was Super Bowl Sunday when I was in the US, and one of my uncles, he was just drunk. And I'm like, bro, you a grown ass man. and you don't know how to just take some sips and chill. And everybody looking at me like, oh, Jason smoking Canada. Oh, Jason smoking this. And I'm literally sitting there reading a book while they watching the football game, drunk, arguing. I'm sitting there reading a book on professional development. What book was I reading? I was reading one of the Power of Your Subconscious Mind books, and by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And I'm sitting there smoking, and they looking at me like, you gonna smoke some more? I'm like, dude, you gonna drink some more? I'm like, I'm tired of this belligerentness. Yeah, man. See, like, I quit drinking for good 2 years ago. But even before that, I would only drink maybe twice a year. I gave myself only 2 times a year that I would allow myself to drink. And I just got tired of alcohol, man. Like, I started realizing how much money I wasted in my life in the military from drinking. And so I just let those things go. It just wasn't for me. Make sure I ain't miss nothing over here. Everybody doing in TikTok world. What y'all up to today? Okay, cool. Well, I would say if you have a good bar idea, you can make money here with it. I don't think Lusaka, I'm gonna just say Lusaka because I haven't seen enough of other cities around. I don't think they know how to do entertainment here. I think they just believe in putting a place where people can sit, eat, and drink, and that's it. I don't think people, because you're in Australia, so you'll probably get what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they know how to do the experience here. So I feel like if someone was to do a bar here, make it an experience. Like, show people how to up level with it. It's like now that South Africa legalized cannabis, I really want to do an up leveled cannabis restaurant there. So I feel like people need to see up level stuff, man. And I really want to up level how cannabis is looked at. But here it is. Oh man, this is probably my biggest issue with Zambia. It's illegal here. Like, I've heard people can get up to 5 or 10 years for like a gram, which is just insane. Because if they legalize it here with all this farmland, the first thing I would do is start a cannabis farm. Just because you can do a hemp textile from it. I mean, I can create a whole new line of chitangas, which is their wraps, just made out of hemp fibers, which would be really good for the skin. Like, they wrap their babies in it. There's medicinal properties there for it, where it helps keep a baby calm. Their nerves are real good. It helps insulate and cool off really well. I would create a whole line of hempcrete here, which is a stronger concrete than regular concrete. Also, with hempcrete, it helps regulate the temperatures. So if it's hot, it'll keep it cooler. If it's cold, it'll keep it warmer. It's antifungal, antiviral. It helps keep snakes out. It helps keep out the insects. Like, there's a lot of benefits to hemp that people are not aware of in this region. And I think if they legalize it here, like the previous government was planning, it's going to create a whole new line of new billionaires overnight. I feel like Lusaka is dead compared to Ghana or South. Yes. I can't say Ghana because I haven't been to Ghana yet, but every area is pretty much dead compared to South Africa. South Africa is just overdeveloped, and not in a bad way. I mean, it's just they developed the hell out of South Africa, which was a really good thing. Because when I was in South Africa, I didn't feel any difference than being in the United States. And you don't miss any conveniences of the U.S. or UK. Let me see. The reason they will never legalize here because it's the most Christian nation in Africa. You know what's funny? It's technically legal here, medicinally. It is actually legal here medicinally. I've been on a hunt looking for the government organization. It's called Zamra, ZAMRA, I believe, or ZANRA. I can't find them. I can't find anybody that works for them. I can't find anybody that even heard of the organization. It is technically legal here. You can get a medicinal license to use and grow here, but I can't find the organization. And I've been looking for it. I'm going to continue looking for it because I know eventually I'm going to cross paths with someone that knows someone that can just point me in the right direction. But it is technically legal here. The previous government legalized it for medicinal purposes because they did see that there was a medical benefit from it. I don't think a lot of people understand the tax revenues that are generated from that. Like, let me just, how can I say this let's just say this. Everyone believes every part of their government has some form of corruption where people steal money. The amount of money that can be generated from cannabis creates a whole sector that people can be stealing money from, and no one's going to care. Like, that's one of the things I think some of these government officials need to look at is it's tax money you can divert. It's legalized tax money that you can be diverting to your pocket. And it's not, no one's going to really care about it because it's going to produce a lot of money. Look at the state of Colorado. As soon as the state of Colorado legalized it, it created a surplus of millions of dollars every month. They had so much money coming in from it, they didn't even know what to do with it. They didn't even know how to steal it. Like, imagine that. They had so much money, they didn't even know how to steal it. To where they ended up just asking people to vote on what are the things they want the excess money to go to. Like, people are not understanding some of the benefits. One of the other good things about it is it actually, if you start growing it in certain areas, it actually helps clean contaminated water. It can even remove radiation from the ground. And so, like, for a country here where they deal with cholera on a yearly basis, guess what? That's something that could probably help deal with that. It could help if you could just stop a third of the cases. You know how many lives that will save every year? How many families that's not in distraught anymore from losing a family member? And I'm not used to cholera firsthand, but I don't think that's something that's pretty. Meaning, like, I think that's a very painful thing when you're having problems with a viral or a bacterial infection with your intestines. Like, that shit hurt. Like, I remember when I was suffering from IBS after the military, and that was a horrible feeling, man. But I'm going to find a way to get the legal licenses. That is still on one of my goals. I just don't talk about it that much because I don't think a lot of people really understand the benefits of it. People are listening to a lot of that U.S. propaganda around it. And most of that propaganda actually came from the logging industry because they knew that if hemp was still going to be legal around the world, it would put the logging industry out of business. Because think about it. The amount of time it takes for one tree to grow back compared to growing back cannabis is insane. Like, you can regrow cannabis in a couple of months. How many years do it take to bring back a tree after you cut it down and you're using it for timber or using it for paper? And cannabis actually makes a better paper than timber. The Constitution of the United States is written on cannabis. Most people don't know that. It's funny because a lot of people are, oh, this is America. No weed smoking here. Your Constitution is written on cannabis. Like, a lot of people should really read history instead of just listening to what's being told to them on media outlets. Because a lot of the stuff that's being told to people are a lie. And when you start really looking at what's illegal and what's legal, you'll start realizing some of this stuff is illegal for a reason. And it ain't to save you. It's because there's more money in it. What is the thing? You have to, if you go back to the Vietnam War, when the United States committed that illegal act of starting a war with Vietnam because of the Gulf of Tonga, which was a fake event that they lied about. It didn't happen the way it did. And the reason why I can openly talk about this is historical fact. It's actually on congressional record that this was a lie. The U.S. government went to war with Vietnam, and guess how they funded it? They were selling crack cocaine to Black American communities. They got Black American communities hooked on drugs. How did they get the first group of people hooked on drugs? They were giving crack cocaine to United States soldiers in the military that they were forcing to go to that war. You got to start looking at things for beyond religion. I think once we start looking beyond religion, we'll start seeing a lot of truths, and you'll start realizing a lot of things are the way they are. Then you'll start asking questions like I do, like, why is alcohol legal, but cannabis isn't? Why is stuff that actually has medicinal support to you are legal, but stuff that are toxic to you are not? Because like a lot of people don't know, we all produce minuscule amounts of THC in our body. We have an endocannabinoid system on our nervous system. This is why if you use cannabis, it is good for glaucoma and other things. And they've seen a lot of potential development in it with treating a lot of things because it's receptors on your central nervous system that produces endocannabinoids. And when you stimulate those endocannabinoids, it can stimulate, what's the legal way I can say it? It can stimulate your body self-regulating itself. And I've studied a lot of it on myself when I was in Panama because I was getting stuff in big amounts. I tested a lot on me. And I can say that I've seen life-changing results from using it. And I think once most of the world gets on board, they will start seeing life-changing results also. A lot of things that people are suffering from, they don't have to actually suffer from. So that's one of the reasons why I'm a big advocate for it. And once I start mixing with more politicians and stuff here, I'm gonna start becoming a bigger advocate for it here because at the very least, it's just sometimes we got to get away from the religious aspect of it and just get to the money aspect. People need money here. People need businesses here. People need things that can help them be able to feed their family. And if we're okay with bars and alcohol businesses being here, we need to be open to those other type of businesses also. Because at the end of the day, money is money. And we're all using money to pay our bills. We're not using prayers and religion. And that's not knocking anybody's personal religion. It's just a fact. At the end of the day, you pay your bills with cash. It don't matter if it's kwacha, pesos, dollars, you use cash to pay your bills. So anything that can bring positive business to a country needs to be researched and looked at. So I will be doing a lot of advocacy on that as the time goes. Right now, I'm just focused on just acquiring as much land as possible. Make sure I don't forget nobody trying to come up. But let me see. I've been on here. I don't know how long I've been on TikTok. But I've been on YouTube for 2 hours now. I'm about to hop off because I think in the next 30 minutes, I'm gonna end up having load shedding, so I need to go on and cook something for breakfast. But appreciate you hopping on. For YouTube, I'm gonna be back on here later this evening, probably tonight once electricity come back. TikTok, I might be. Let me see. I don't think I have the thing with me. On TikTok, I'm not gonna be on live. I don't think. I might come on live this evening tonight when I go on YouTube live. So that way I'll be talking to both and we can all interact. But have a great morning, man. Have a great night your time, Troy, in Australia. Everybody watching from the US, appreciate you for watching. I know it's very late for y'all. But let me get up out of here and I'll catch you later. Come on, bro. Yeah, I gotta get a new phone.